Mabuhay, Philippines! Welcome to the grandest, most intriguing but reliable and educational talks in town sa Trulang podcast. This is Nathalie and I am going to be your host for today's episode entitled 21st Century Press Massacre. In this episode of Sa Trulang, we are going to talk about the media killings in the Philippines. The National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, or NUJP, on November 4, 2022, urged the government to redouble its efforts to resolve media killings after the Philippines was again included in the list of the worst countries for journalists. They also expressed concern over incidents of harassment and police visits to the residence of some journalists. To talk more about it, we have our resident moderators. Let's welcome Hannah and Sharina. Hello, guys.
Hi, Natalie. It's been a while.
Thank you, Natalie.
You're welcome. Now it's time to introduce our main guest for today. She was a varsity debater who brought home pride in various competitions for public speaking and debating both nationally and internationally. More so, she was the president of FEU Oratorical and Debate Council School Year 2020 to 2021. Last year, she brought home triumph as she and her team was able to bag the championship in PIDC Sinag Cup, the country's biggest national Asian parliamentary debate competition. She has been the adjudication core of the Munitions Debate 2022. Other than this, she also represented the Philippines in 2021's Educational Convention in Adamas University, India, 2018's Top Outstanding Freshman, 2022's Outstanding Senior Student, a Mark Prof Foundation graduate, and is the co-founder of the youth-led donation project Tulong Mo, Hapunan Ko. Let's welcome Ms. Johanna Trisha Cinco.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
Hello, Miss Trisha. May we ask for your insight? Given the prevalence of media killings and bills, such as the anti-terrorism bill, do you think that there really is a space for speech in our democratic landscape?
Even when we say and agree that right now there are certain restrictions to our ability to speak up, since there are penalty or we can be penalized for speaking up, I would say that it's not a question of whether there is a space. I think that it's a question of whether we should speak up, because the fact that there are a lot of threats against our democratic rights of freedom of speech, there are a lot of checks and balances from the government to stop us from continuously speaking up. I think that we should continuously incentivize ourselves to continuously speak up, talk about it, especially that we are in the privileged sector, meaning we have more access to everything that's happening around us. We have more social awareness. We have these kinds of privilege that are restricted to people in the proletariat sector. With this having said, I don't think that we should stop asking whether there is really a space. Rather, we should start asking about the things that we should talk about, and start realizing that when we do it, we're not speaking up for ourselves, but we're speaking up for those people who cannot hear the things that are being reprimanded for them to hear.
Okay, before we end this podcast, may we ask you one last question? What is your message to the people who are listening right now, specifically to the students or youth in general?
Yeah, like what I said a while ago, we are in the privileged sector. The fact that you can study, the fact that you are studying in a good university, i.e. Far Eastern University Manila, means that you are already in a privileged stance because you can access educations like these. And this is not the kind of privilege that everybody has access to, the kind of information that you get on a daily basis, that you get to talk about in your friends, or even the kind of information that you get to understand. These are the things that comes with privilege. And since we have these kinds of privileges, it is up to us, it is our burden to make sure that the people on the proletariat sector understand, and the information that we get trickles down to them, being that there are a lot of restrictions with media and other entities where they can get information like this.
Yes, I agree with you. Thank you, Miss Trisha Cinco. It is really an honor to have you here with us right now.
All right, what a great discussion given to us by our speaker, Ms. Trisha, and our two moderators, Hannah and Sharina. Thank you so much. Media has really been crucial to us ever since. But whatever happens, even if it is being silenced or suppressed, the truth shall always prevail. This is Nathalie, your host for today's episode of Sa Trulang Podcast. Thank you and have a great day.